It is the Riot Podcast. This is the Wednesday, October 16th edition. I'm here, still on the road to recovery. Isaiah here, feeling fine and fancy free. Isaiah, you ever leave a review on a podcast?
I've never left a review on a podcast. Have you? Have you reviewed? I've reviewed things.
Oh, yeah.
Never a podcast. I've reviewed things on Yelp.
Yeah.
I'm a Yelp user.
Let me ask you this then. Let's talk about reviews outside of podcasts. Have you ever left a positive review?
I've left positive reviews.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
On what?
On Yelp.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for what?
Let's see. Reviews. Oh, well, this is a bad review about Arby's.
I remember talking about that. See, that's what I was thinking. I think for me, I've only left negative reviews on like Google.
I left a positive review at Hot Chicken Takeover a year ago.
Wow.
I said, love my first time experience. Tiffany gave me great service and I had a fantastic time in the nice establishment. That was for a free banana pudding.
Oh.
Also, this is a good one. This was when I was in New Orleans at BB King's Blues Club.
Oh, I think I remember this.
Where they also asked me to leave a review. A unique atmosphere with an authentic New Orleans twist. The friendly wait staff, accompanied by the live music, was at a perfect volume, creating an experience that my family and I truly adored. Ahmed was our server, and I don't usually do things like this, but he was too good to not leave a review. He not only catered to my family's needs, including my elderly grandmother, but also went above and beyond to make this night truly special for us. Ahmed is not only a good server, but a genuine human being that I'd like to call my friend, even though I only met him this one time.
Oh, my gosh.
I look forward to seeing him again. I'd recommend this place to anyone.
Have you seen him since
Now,
then?
I've not been back to New Orleans since then. I mean, if you want somebody to leave a good review at your place, I should have people pay me to do that. That was good.
You should be a review mercenary.
Imagine trying to decide between BB King's Blues Club and somewhere else in New Orleans when you're on vacation.
Yeah.
You see that review on Yelp. Where are you going?
You're going to BB King's for sure.
You're going straight to BB King's.
How could you not? Why did you leave that?
He asked me to, I think.
Did you get anything? Did he give you like a discount?
I don't think he gave us anything.
He must have been a good server.
My elderly grandmother was there.
The confidence to go ahead and say, hey, review this.
Review.
Yeah.
Leave a review. People do that all the time, though. They're like, hey, if you fill out the survey, gives me something.
Yeah, but the survey is different.
On the receipt.
Yeah, for a Chick-fil-A
gives you a free $5.
Or McDonald's or whatever. A survey is way different.
Have you ever done that?
I do those. Yeah, I definitely do. I have done. It's been a while.
I used to do it all the time for Panda Express because if you did the survey, you got a free side portion of whatever entree you wanted. And so I would get that every time.
Yeah, that I used to do that for Chick-fil-A because they might still do this. They would give you a free sandwich every time.
That's
but
wild.
Only they didn't give that on every receipt, but every receipt that had a survey, those were highly sought after among the friend group, actually. But I feel like now I wouldn't do that. But if there was like some kind of option, because a lot of times they'll do this, they'll send you a thing in the app or in your email. They'll be like, hey, review your recent experience at whatever. You just came to Popeyes, give us a review. I will only review it if they offer me something.
Oh, you don't
I'm not
just
going
do
to
a
waste
review.
my precious time reviewing you for free. Although I say all that, and then I was going to come on here and ask people to review our podcast, but what are we going to give them in return? I can't offer you a free chicken sandwich.
We'll read it.
Uh-huh.
On the podcast, I can't. That's all I can really offer you.
Yeah, I wish I could offer more.
Unless you have someplace that you'd like me to review, I'll review it. At the very end of your review, leave a cryptic message.
It has to be cryptic.
And you don't have to type anything. Just type a restaurant at the very end.
That's how we'll know you listened. And then it'll be Isaiah's
something
cue.
like this. What I would do is I would be like, you know what this podcast reminds me of? It's so good. It reminds me of that Arby's on Mill Street. And then put the zip code on there. Be like, it was just like that place. It was so good. And then I'll read that. I'll be like, all right.
The owner of the Arby's on Mill Street is going to review this podcast?
He could. And you know what? And I'd give you an incredible review.
How much do you think that review is a positive review is worth? Like how
I
much?
don't know.
If you were a business owner and you had to pay, you were gonna be in the business of paying for
For
reviews.
positive reviews?
Yeah. How much would you pay? That has to be a thing that exists, right?
Oh, yeah. Now I want to look up reviews. Here we go, Yelp. Got it. I'm looking at my parents' toy store. See
Okay.
what their rating is, right? 7 reviews. A little low on the
Wow.
review side. They're a 4.1. That's pretty good.
Out of 7.
First time I visited. Really wanted to see if it was a bargain store. What are these reviews? These are terrible reviews.
Is
They're
that
not even
on,
good.
Is
You know
that
what?
on Yelp though?
Yeah, it's on Yelp.
I don't trust Yelp. Yelp is not my go-to review. Typically I just go with Google because I think that's the lowest bar of entry.
Because anybody can do it
Yeah.
there.
And I always understand too with reviews that typically you have to add a few points onto the score because people are more likely to review if they're like me, they're angry about something.
True.
If they're sitting in the drive-through waiting and they're upset and they have time to write a review, than if they had a really great experience and they go here all the time. So you have to add a few points on. But that said, Google, anybody can just go on and review. Whereas Yelp, you almost have to subtract points because people on there are like professional reviewers.
They are. That's
like
where I
you.
do my reviews.
Yeah.
I have 4 reviews. 2 good ones. One at BB King's Blues Club, New Orleans. Also one at How Chicken Takeover a year ago for that free banana pudding.
Yeah.
I'm easily swayed. And then 2 bad ones. One at Wendy's, one at Arby's.
We've gone through in a past episode mine. I know I left a negative review for Taco Bell while I was in the drive-thru upset, and one time at Pizza Hut because they were just unhelpful.
Have you ever left a review and you've just left the stars? Or do you always give a description? Because mine are always real. I mean, like as you saw before, mine are always real in depth.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever done the stars.
I've never just given stars because then it feels like, why did you leave a 2-star review?
Yeah, right.
I want to know, who's that helping?
You know what? I will do
I'd
that.
like to have
Sometimes
a
I'll
little
do that
response.
on apps.
On apps, yeah. Fair.
Although, actually, I feel like I've reviewed more apps than restaurants or
Because they
businesses.
ask you.
They ask me, and if an app really gets to you, like if it's a banking app or something, and it's just screwing you over time and time again, then you're upset, and it's right there on your phone.
1 star.
Yeah, it's
Boom.
so easy.
Take that.
If I'm upset at a restaurant or something, I at least have time to go home and calm down. If I'm like messing with my phone and I can't get this thing to work, then all I have to do is go over to the Play Store and just give them a piece of my mind.
You know when is the only time that other than apps, but if you were going to review something, like a restaurant, a podcast possibly, and you were thinking that you just wanted to do the stars, I think the only time you're able to just do the stars is if you give it a 5.
Yeah.
Because that just means you're just, what else do you want from me?
Right.
I really love it. I'm fully satisfied. It's a 5.
Yeah.
But
and
if you
people
do anything less than that, then I want to know why.
On products and stuff like that, restaurants, people don't want to read the positive reviews. Maybe restaurants because you're like, what's good here?
Mm-hmm.
But typically, if I'm on Amazon looking at a product, I don't want to see what the good things.
I go straight to the
I
bad
wanna
ones.
See, yeah, the people that hated this.
Bad ones in the
why
photos.
Did they hate it? Yep.
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 I go
exactly.
straight to bad ones and then the photos to see what it actually looks like. But obviously a great response. I love that.
So you can give The Riot a 5-star review. I don't even know where you review podcasts anymore.
Wherever you're listening right now.
Not if it's Spotify.
You can't review podcasts on Spotify?
I don't think you can. I'm pretty sure you
That's impossible.
can't. I'm pretty sure you can't.
You're telling me
That's
that
why
you
I don't
can't?
use Spotify for podcasts.
Because you want your voice to be heard so much, don't you?
Yeah. Also,
yeah, I'm not seeing oh my gosh, I'm not seeing
and
maybe not.
we have a podcast audience on Facebook. You can give us 5 stars. YouTube, no rating system. However, you could give us a thumbs up. You could subscribe. I saw on YouTube they're doing a thing where I don't know if it'll work for this video.
You can leave reviews. It says, want to rate this podcast.
Oh, how did you find that?
We've got 18 reviews on Spotify.
Oh, I'm going to have to go look through those for several hours later today.
I feel like I've already read all
Read
those.
them over and over again.
They all sound the same.
and see.
Isaiah doesn't talk enough. Hudson way too much.
But on YouTube, they're testing a thing where when I say subscribe, it'll make your subscribe button like flash around.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's on this video, if it's for you as a user right now, but see, check it out. Subscribe.
And we'll catch you guys soon.
Catch you next time.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
The question is, our guy Nene from Afternoons yesterday confessed that when he ran his marathon on Sunday, shortly before the marathon, he bought a new pair of headphones just for the marathon, and then shortly thereafter returned the headphones that he had sweated all up in. He returned them back to the store to get his money back. Is that stealing? Susanna simply says, stealing. We see where she stands. I have a comment here. Kind of seems a bit like stealing if you bought them intentionally to return them after. It's all about intent, sounds like, to this person. However, Regina said, I don't know that I'd call that stealing, but it doesn't feel right. And it's super gross because there's no way he didn't sweat in them. He says he did claim he cleaned them before he took them back.
And you believe that?
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that.
Maybe with a Lysol wipe. I guess you could Lysol wipe him real quick.
Yeah, give it
An
a quick...
antibacterial wipe.
Sue says, so you bought headphones knowing you're going to take them back after you wore them, plus you wore them during a marathon where you were sweating like a pig. Sue is not pleased with Nene, to say the least. Let's see. Kelly says, yuck. Do you think the store, I don't know what store he took them back to. You think they resold them or would resell them? Open box special?
Yeah, I would say so.
So they still get some money out of it.
See, now this is where I think it might be wrong. Also, Stacy says stealing is taking them without paying with intent to keep. He didn't keep them.
Stacy also said that is genius.
Carl says, considering clothes are made in third world sweatshops.
And headphones too.
He has no issues screwing them over every now and then.
That'll show him.
How about this? One of my ex-boyfriends did this all the time, but he was a terrible person. He goes out and buys a flat screen with every intent on returning it later, opens it up, breaks the packaging, then returns it, never using it once. And so since he broke all the packaging, now the TV is discounted, sends a friend in, buys the discounted TV.
So that's how he gets his deal.
That seems wrong. But the first comment after that, that's genius.
I don't know. It's true for big games when you get like New Year's, the college football games, or the Super Bowl, of course. People often, especially Costco is known for this. They go and they buy the biggest TV with no intention of keeping it. It's just for the big game, and then you bring it back, and you know it's a free rental, is what it is. I agree. It's not stealing. It doesn't feel fully right, because what are the options, right? I guess if everybody did this, that's something. Sometimes you have to ask yourself that in these kind of situations. What if everybody did this? Then chaos, right?
Chaos ensues.
Yeah, so it's not right. You shouldn't do it. I think it's a very, very limited scope of when this is okay. And I don't know if Nene, I might have to have a talk with him.
Oh, have a talk with him.
Yeah, I'm going to have to sit him down.
I think that if you do this to like Walmart, that's different than doing it to like a small business.
Okay.
My parents are small business owners.
Yeah.
If you did that to them, I would be real upset with you.
Thoroughly upset.
I would, if you came in and returned something that you clearly just used once, I would be upset. Especially if your kid, my parents own a toy store, if your kid was sucking on it too, that would make it even worse.
It's so tough.
His kids are dirty.
My first thought is, well, it's the store's return policy, but then if to deter people from doing this, they'd have to like shrink their return policy and make it much more difficult. And then who'd be upset? People that actually want to return stuff
Exactly.
legitimately. So that's why I say I'm going to call foul on this one.
If it's Amazon, that's one thing.
And why buy new headphones just for the race? Which headphones were you using to train? It's the same thing.
I know. It doesn't really make any sense to me.
Make a lot of
Like
sense.
the ones that I wear to work out every day are probably disgusting.
The stories you love with the opinions you hate. The Riot Radio U.
Are there any restaurants that are a pure no-go on a first date where you end the date right there? The reason we're asking is because a lady on TikTok ended a date after her date brought her to the Cheesecake Factory. So far, the text coming in. Jamal, I'm a vegan, so I don't want to go to McDonald's on a first date.
Understandable.
Yeah. I would imagine that if you're a vegan, McDonald's wouldn't be the only place that might be off limits, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple of other ones that probably don't have very good vegan options.
Probably most barbecue restaurants might not be your top place to go. Let's see. Regina says McDonald's also. McDonald's getting a lot of hate for the first dates. You know anybody that's ever been on a first date to McDonald's?
No.
Not intentionally.
That
Or
would
not
be,
where that was the focal point of
that
the
wasn't,
date.
yeah, maybe you get it after
Yeah.
you do something else.
Uh-huh.
Because it's just convenient.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
then- but
we've had a good night bowling.
Yeah.
Let's go get some apple pies before we say so long.
And you still look like a, you still
Cheapo.
don't look good if you do
but,
that.
I mean, if the date goes well and it goes late into the night, McDonald's might be the only place open. It's either that or Taco Bell. Let's see. Carl says, break her phone and leave.
I'm in danger.
See, my first thought was that, well, Carl, she's going to call the police. But then I thought, how's she going to do that with a broken phone?
She can't.
She can't. Boom. The perfect crime. Is there any restaurant you would say no to on a first date?
Hannah says McDonald's. I've always disliked McDonald's, and it's cheap. Justin says White
Jeez.
Castle is not a good first date choice. I think we can nail down no fast food. I'm thinking more like, are you guys okay with Chili's? Are you guys okay with Applebee's? Are those appropriate first dates? I don't think
You
many
should have
people.
specified.
I think we could have skipped over McDonald's.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm sure someone's been asked on a date to McDonald's. Maybe they
Oh, it's
enjoyed
happened.
it.
And I guarantee you there's stories of people who went on their first date to McDonald's and got married and lived happily ever after.
Dee says the restaurant my husband took me for our first date was so bad we never returned to that location by choice.
Wow. And it still worked out.
How romantic.
Yeah.
I would say Regina says Chili's totally fine. My husband proposed at one.
No way. To you or to somebody else?
I would say, for me, I don't usually roll with the chains on a first date. I think it's more special if you take them somewhere maybe unique they've never been to. I think that's a better strategy.
Yeah.
Do I think there's anything wrong with going to a chain? I don't think there is. I'm just trying to give you advice. I think maybe taking them somewhere unique makes it a little more special. Somewhere they've never been to.
Well, I think in many areas, you would be surprised that the places you don't think are chains are actually chains. Some of the sit-down places you don't realize there's several locations. I don't think you can write off a place just because it's a chain, but it should be nicer. It should just be good. As long as it's good, why would you write it off? You know what I'm saying?
But does it feel special? You know? McDonald's is good. Applebee's good.
But not special enough.
But I don't know if but obviously for a first date, you don't have to break the bank either.
Yeah.
But breaking the bank isn't always, you can go somewhere unique that isn't super expensive.
You think, what about this though? What if it's less about the chain, more about atmosphere?
That's the most important part of the whole date.
Is Applebee's frowned upon because it's a chain or because of the atmosphere?
Because when you bring a girl to Applebee's, what's she thinking about you right away, you know? She's not like, oh, well, this great gentleman. this luxurious gentleman. But if you're not trying to give off that persona, it doesn't matter.
But if you take a gal to, let's think, what about Olive Garden? That's obviously a chain, but much nicer ambiance for a date than Chili's.
Shrew says Mitchell's Restaurant or any 5-star place are out. I also think it's all about, if I'm not going to take a girl somewhere where it's like super expensive, because then she's going to think I'm hot dogging like that. And I can't hot dog like that.
Time. Yeah. But at the end of the day, though, if you put yourself in the woman's position where the other guy's paying, I would be hard-pressed to say no to anything.
Yeah.
If it was me.
If podcast awards were ever a thing, this show wouldn't win any. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Question for you. Do you think certain Halloween costumes get you more candy when you trick or treat?
For children?
Yeah. Not now. I don't. What kind of costume could you wear now that would get you more candy than zero candy?
Yeah, I don't know how adults are garnering candy. I would say no.
You don't think so? You think parents or people handing out candy are just fair?
I think when you go into it, but I don't know. I've never handed out candy ever before.
Nor have I.
You've never handed out candy? Don't you live in a neighborhood?
Yeah, but I just...
What do you do?
Usually...
you're usually out and about.
I'll go out and about, but I also just put a bowl out, even if I'm home. I trust them. I trust the kids.
I would say for me, if I were to hand out candy, I would have a system. I would know how much candy I have.
Yeah.
I would say everybody's getting 3 pieces. And then you're getting 3 pieces no matter what. And then if a kid asked me for 4, I would say I'm giving 3 to everybody. Move along.
Even if they have a great costume.
Even if they have a great costume.
What if they dressed up as you? Would you give them more candy?
I'd give them whatever they want.
That wasn't asked about in this survey. This survey, they didn't ask do flattering costumes get you more candy.
If you were dressed up as a basset hound and I'm there with my dog Jim, then you're gonna get more candy. You have to hit me in where it hurts.
Yeah.
Hit me in the heartstrings, or maybe your mom's really cute and she's the only one there. I would give you more candy as well if mom was really cute.
Sheesh. Or maybe they dressed up as Deshaun Watson, perhaps.
Maybe Nick Chubb would be better.
Chubb. According to this survey, 61% of people believe that creative costumes get you more candy. So instead of just going as Spider-Man, if you went as a refrigerator, you might get more candy. According is what this survey believes.
Also, what about age? Do little kids get more candy than teenagers?
A teenager, yeah.
If you're 13, trick-or-treating, nothing wrong with that either. But if you're 13 trick-or-treating versus a 5-year-old, who gets more candy? Do you give more to the 5-year-old?
I would think that most people would give more candy to the 5-year-old because they're probably cuter.
Like, we always dressed my younger brother up in this duck costume when he was little.
Yeah.
He hated it. We made him wear it every year. We called him the Angry Duck. And he looked really cute in the Angry Duck costume. I went as a pirate.
Yeah.
My brother and I went as the same costume for multiple years in a row because it was the costumes we had. I was a pirate for like 3 years in a row, and my younger brother, Jaden, was the Angry Duck. He hated that duck costume, but he was cute. I have a feeling that Jaden probably got more candy than me because he was younger than me.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
Who are you going to give more candy to? A 5-year-old in an Angry Duck costume, or an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old in a pirate costume? It's the duck.
Do you think? I think this could be boiled down to, it's not that it's a creative costume. I just think anything that makes you stick out from the crowd, which is hard to do on Halloween, anything that makes you stick out from the crowd gets you more candy.
Or if you're just cuter.
I don't think most people do have a standard of everybody gets 3 pieces.
Yeah, I think I would. But who hands out candy?
Yeah,
you
but you're very logical.
Text in at 8772 RadioU. Do you give every kid the same amount? Do you give younger kids more than older kids?
It's time to decide because Halloween's right around the corner.
Maybe I'll hand out candy this year.
I would love that.
I'd have some great stories.
I know. I'm sure you would.
Maybe I'll find the love of my life.
8772 Radio U. Do you hand out candy straight across the board, or do you give more to certain children?
Radio U's Worst of the Riot podcast.
Would you rather double the money you currently have or double the size of the home you live in? And we have a text in from Regina who says, double the size of my home. I've actually been trying to double our home, add on to our house anyways, and keep getting delayed. So it'd be it's been on their wish list.
Make it happen.
Yeah. Get on it, Regina. That's a long one. Abby says, I would rather double my money because I love traveling above all and don't like staying at home. I like that answer. If you're like content with what you have, either way, then doubling the money would probably be the way to go because it increases your opportunities.
Bailey says, currently, as we look for a house after selling ours, I would vote to double my money because of what I have in the bank, which would enable me to purchase a nicer / bigger house.
Bailey, a little loophole, a little best of both worlds in this Would You Rather Wednesday scenario. I like it. Jeff, just double the house and sell it, he says.
Smart.
I do not own a home. I rent. I would double my money, even though that wouldn't be that exciting. It'd do me more good than having a double size house. I don't know what I'd do with all that space. I'd fill it up with something I don't need. So I'm doing double the money. Susanna says, right now the money in my bank account is going towards remodeling for our house. There we go. Another one. I didn't know we had so many people doing home reno. But so she's also going to go with doubling the house, I believe. She says she's not sure how to answer it. What's your choice? You don't own your home either. So is
I'm
it just
not
the
doing.
money?
I mean, that's an obvious answer. Anyone who's renting would say, double my money.
Yeah.
Because if you said double my apartment, then you're just an imbecile.
Yeah.
So then if I do the real question, which is if I owned a home, would I rather double the size of my home or the amount of money I have? Tough to say. Currently, I probably would pick double my house.
You think so? I feel like in a world where I have a home that I own, I've saved up a nice amount of money, and it'd be nice to double that.
But don't you think that the amount of money that you would add on, like if your house was worth $200,000 and you doubled it, then it would now be worth $400,000, which would be an extra $200K.
I don't know if it's exactly linear like that, but I mean that's basically what Jeff is saying.
Let's make it easy like that. Then in your mind, if you're doubling your money or you're doubling $200K, maybe you are.
I just imagine that once I buy a house too, and I know it doesn't exactly work like this, but I'm not going to buy a house I'm not happy with. And so if I bought a house, I'm probably happy with the size. It's what I need. It's in a location that's okay for me. And so I don't want to have to go through the hassle of selling it.
See, I'm thinking
to have
sell.
the double the money, which I could just instantly have.
I'm thinking sell. That's all I'm thinking. I'm thinking flip the house and downsize.
It's a long-term. The long-term choice is probably doubling the house if you're a homeowner.
But maybe if you saved up a lot of money and you're living very conservatively in a small house, then it would be double the money.
That's how I picture it for me whenever I buy a house. But good question from, who was it? James? For Would You Rather Wednesday. Text which one you think we should do next if you got a good one. 8772 Radio U.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
We haven't talked about Taylor Swift in a while. But apparently, the Best Buy CEO hates her. Best Buy made news earlier this week. They've announced they're going to stop selling DVDs and Blu-rays. One of the big announcements they made. Their CEO, Corey Berry, says that times are a little tougher at Best Buy as of late, and she blames it in part on what she calls funflation. And she cited Taylor Swift as an example, the Eras Tour of funflation, where people now are more concerned, more excited, more willing to spend their disposable income on experiences like the Eras Tour, or going to see Barbie and Barbenheimer, than they are on investing in big ticket purchases of like tech at Best Buy. What do you make of it?
I think he sounds like a complainer.
I think it's a she.
I think she sounds like a complainer. Sorry, Corey.
She's one of Fortune's most powerful women.
Well, congratulations on all your success. You think you would empower another powerful woman. But besides the point, I would say, Corey, I feel like you can't have it both ways now. Because it feels like, what's everybody say? All everyone does is technology this, that. Everyone's buried in their phones. They're buried doing video games. And then now you're saying that everybody's going out and having too much fun? What everyone says is wrong with the world, what everybody says is hurting us so much, is that nobody goes outside and plays anymore. Children just play on iPads all day long. They never stop staring at the screen. And now the CEO of Best Buy says, well, it seems like everybody just wants to go to concerts and have fun outside of their house.
Yeah.
Isn't that what everyone says we're supposed to do?
It's tough to say. I mean, I think it's right. I think it's
like
better.
People are going to the Barbie. She quoted Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yep.
Because the movie theaters are just killing right now. They're just on fire. I mean, like never before. Isn't that what we're saying the whole summer? Oh my gosh. They can't keep people out of the theaters. Popcorn selling at all-time highs. No, that's not real life, Corey. Yet again, wild conclusions. Way out of touch. Reading headlines. Insane.
It's tough. What do you think you get more enjoyment out of? One Taylor Swift Eras Tour concert or one new surround sound system? It's difficult
It's a good question.
because the surround sound system is with you every day.
It is.
It's always there when you need it. That Taylor Swift Eras Tour night, that's one night, but you remember it for a lifetime.
See, I think this is also just the question of summer versus winter. In the summertime, you should go to concerts. You should experience the nice weather. Go do things outside. In the wintertime, you're probably more likely to maybe hang out at home, invest in that surround sound.
on a TV because
Yeah.
you're going to watch a lot of football and Netflix on it. I don't
But
know.
these initial, Taylor Swift and blaming it on Barbie and Oppenheimer,
Can I say?
wild takes.
Let me, here's my take, Best Buy. I think that the reason that things aren't going as well for you is because people aren't excited about new technology because it's not exciting anymore. TVs aren't that different anymore.
That's the truth.
They used to get more exciting. Now it's just slightly bigger. And who needs a TV that's slightly bigger or slightly crisper?
Or a phone that's slightly bigger. Or is it smaller? I don't know which way we're going right now.
I can't even tell that you put two TVs side by, unless you put them side by side. I don't know which one is crisper. I'm happy with the one I have. I don't need it slightly bigger or with a better resolution. It's not exciting anymore. That's the problem, Best Buy.
Come out with something cool
Yeah.
that we must have.
Tell Sony,
That
tell
we have
Apple
to
make something
have.
exciting.
Wasn't that a great Riot clip? While you're here, you should watch more of our videos and subscribe so you don't miss what we do next.